Hi, everyone. Welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. And if you're new here, hi, welcome in. On Fridays, we take a box of to this week's new releases, reissues, represses, stuff that came in this week on vinyl. And we just have a little once over of that stuff. So thank you for being here with us. And if you are new, please think about subscribing. Every Friday we do this, so that would be really great. And feel free to leave comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do, and it helps. So, okay. My picks of the week. We always start with picks of the week, and my pick for you, it's been delayed and it's finally here. So it's Fleet Foxes, A Very Lonely Solstice on the Anti-Records label. Now, this was 13 track career spanning collection that was recorded in December of 2020 at Brooklyn's St. Anne and the Holy Trinity Church. By Robin Pecknold. You can see from the photo, he's just up in the balcony with his guitar, and it was done as a live stream. And when you watched it, it was just, the sound was so beautiful on that. So now, finally available on vinyl, CD, and digital release, which is a great thing. So anyway, this occurred, he recorded it there on the winter solstice of 2020, the longest day of the year. It was just after New York had been in a state of emergency because of all the COVID cases and, having to shut down everything. So this was just everybody kind of tuned in, quarantined at home, and you still kind of got this great sense of community from this. It was just a beautiful thing when everything seemed so dismal. It was just a really nice thing to have, and especially if you're already a Fleet Foxes fan, because there are songs from all of their albums represented on this beautifully, just with him and the guitar. And I think his direct quote here is... He describes it as me by myself on the longest night of the year, honoring the loneliness of 2020 with nylon string and some songs old and new. And so on the Tracks for Sure, the most recent Fleet Foxes record, he was joined by the Resistance Revival Chorus. Now, I think that they had been, obviously they were all 6 feet apart from each other and that time. So they did the stuff on Shore. Beautiful, highly recommend this. It's great stuff. There's a clear version, which is indicated by this sticker here, and then there is the black version with no sticker. Okay, so that is just a beautiful offering. Second up, my pick for you is Nick Cave's 7 Psalms, and this 10 inches on Goliath Entertainment. He collaborated once again with Warren Ellis, and this is a spoken word project. And what he did over lockdown was he wrote a psalm a day for a week. That's the name, 7 Psalms. And they deal with issues like love, faith, grief, and rage. And he narrates these spoken word pieces over this very minimal kind of background soft music. And that's what the B-side of this is a 12-minute just all that music, just the instrumental is on the second side there. So all the songs put together is what that encompasses. So songs, I'm calling them songs, but they're little snippets of spoken word. Whether he's addressing God directly or kind of meditating on the nature of religion in more abstract terms, you just can't tell with Nick Cave sometimes. But anyway, these are very evocative and very potent little psalms that he's given you here. It's not the kind of record, he's got such a big catalog, and if you're kind of, again, new to the Nick Cave party, you can't really kind of graze his stuff very well. I would say... if you're a fan, you're already kind of sucked into the restless orbit of his way that he is. But I would not suggest this as a place to start if you're just thinking about dipping your toe in the water. You should probably go with something like Boatman's Call or Let Love In, because those are a little more accessible, a little more. This, like I said, not a good place to start, but if you're already a fan, you're going to love this, and you'll find it a very bracing listen. Okay, so let's get on with the other stuff, and I'm going to go as fast as I can for you because I know we're all trying to get into our 4th of July weekend here. So let's get started with this. This is Bad Brains Quickness, and this is on Bad Brains Records. This is the 4th full-length album by these hardcore punk pioneers, Bad Brains. At the time of its release, it was the best-selling Bad Brains album and also featured an MTV video for the lead-off track Soulcraft. Directed by Paul Rockman, who later went on to produce and direct the feature documentary American Hardcore, which was terrific if you haven't seen that. Anyway, the album was a crossover release that contained elements of several genres, including funk, hip-hop, heavy metal, punk, and reggae, which made a notable return after being absent from their 1986's Eye Against Eye record. It also is the band's most controversial release, containing lyrics that some claim were homophobic, and we don't like that sort of thing. But this is an indie exclusive on silver vinyl, and now they're putting everything on Bad Brains Records, their own label. So, yeah, up to you to decide if those lyrics are sketch or not, okay? Next up, this is Doris. Did you give the world some love today, baby? This is from on the Mr. Bongo label. This was Doris's jazz album, though it contains more than a hint of like Joni Mitchell and Led Zeppelin and the like. Backed by her husband, Lucas Lindholm, on bass, she was able to lay down some serious funky bass lines and an experimental kind of thing for her that was, way ahead of its time. Janet Carlson unleashes a fearsome sound on drums, helped by Burnout Egerlad on organ. I always know that I'm messing up people's names. I'm trying. Anyway, it's on limited edition blue vinyl. You can get that. Next up is Earth, Full Upon Her Burning Lips. And this is through Sargent House. With their latest album here, they have stripped away the layers and auxiliary instrumentation and that has embellished some of their previous records. And they've deconstructed their dynamic core duo of Dylan Carlson on guitar and bass, and Adrian Davies on drums and percussion. 10 tracks upon this record came together in bits and pieces. Some songs stemmed from a handful of musical phrases and repeating patterns concocted in moments of downtime during the 2017 tour schedule, while other things came out of their rehearsals and in the months leading up to recording. They just had some divine inspiration in the studio, and the record was engineered, mixed, and mastered by their longtime associate Mel Detter at Studio Soli, sorry. Knowing the process and their sound, the guy helped harness and shape the document of songs in a manner that highlights the depth. Let's just call it what it is. This is super stoner rock. If you're into that, it's very like kind of loopy and a little droney, but it's who they are, and it's what you expect. Now you can get this two ways. It's on Gold and Black Galaxy or Green and Black Galaxy vinyl, and that will be indicated right here on the vinyl for you. They look exactly the same, so you have to read the sticker closely to find out which one it is, if it's the green or gold. Okay. Next up, this is Nikki Egan, This Life. It's on Transistor Sound. So she is like a LA staple in Chicano Batman, and she's been plugging away with her New York-based producer and Dap Kings guitarist Joe Crispiano to complete this LP, This Life. So, it's again confessional songwriting and influenced by the classic soul sounds, and the record features like a who's who of New York's sought-after players on this. So with a few more singles, that followed her first, she released a couple of singles that were featured on like Sirius XM. But anyway, following, this includes a very heavy-hitting fuzz guitar-driven opening track there, and the album just tells the tale that life's about life's journey for her through her eyes. The moments of transience, growth, acceptance, and reflection that we experience throughout our short time here on this earth. 10-song LP here, and it's on transparent orange vinyl. Okay, then we have, this is Faster Pussycat, Whipped. It's on Real Gone Music. Any band that names itself after a Russ Myers film has a reputation to uphold, and with tracks like Big Dictionary, get it? The fourth track on their 1992 album, Whipped, did just that, along with other blasts of Sunset Strip, kind of bragging, like Out with a Bang, not to mention the Dominatrix on the front cover here. But closer listen reveals a band hitting its hard rock stride here. The right song at the wrong time when grunge was coming into the fold. So it was kind of overshadowing a lot of the big hair bands of the moment, which that's what these guys were. So anyway, this record kind of got largely ignored at the time, and in the wake of early 90s Nirvana inspired stuff, but kind of deserved a little better for its first ever US vinyl release. The European vinyl has been very rare and very pricey, but now it is limited to 2,000 copies. It's inside a jacket with inner sleeve lyrics, and it's on milky clear whipped cream vinyl. So you can get that now instead of paying like big prices for it. Okay, next up is Melody Gardot and Philip Powell, and this is called Entre deux, which in French means like between them two. It's on Decca. She and acclaimed pianist Philip Powell have recorded an intimate album here of brooding jazz torch songs. It was recorded in Paris in December of 2021. Intimate new album showcases Melody and Philippe's love of traditional jazz, taking the listener back to the golden age. Like Melody Gardot, she's very good. Next up is Nico Gomez and his Afro Percussion Incorporated. It's called Ritual. This is also through Mr. Bongo. Before Chester Bennington, one of the, skipping ahead on my notes, sorry about that. One of the greatest Latin and Afro funk albums of its era. Believe it or not, made in Belgium. Now the thing is that Nico Gomez was born in Holland, but before moving to Belgium in the late 1940s. So that's why it's like, it's not exactly the place that you would expect this Latin Afro funk to come out of, but Belgium, there you go. So it was originally released in 1971 on the Dutch label called Omega International. It was mastered from the original tapes. Ritual is like a perfect example of the kind of experimentation that was rife in the 70s, which when done well, as on this album, it really is timeless. So that's a fun one. Okay, now this one is Gray Days, the Phoenix, and this is on Loma Vista. Now this one is the one, Chester Bennington, before he was serenading audiences of millions throughout his storied career in Lincoln Park. A host of other projects. He had cut his teeth from 1993 to 1998 in his first proper band, Gray Days. Working with producer S.J. Jones at LA's iconic Sunset Sound Studios. The band really focused on being true to the group's original sound, all the 90s influences. So the Phoenix marks the creative completion of their mission to complete Chester's dream. So this is like early stuff before, like I said, he moved on to Lincoln Park. So it's, I believe he's passed away now, so it's kind of a collectible. All right, this is Gwenno. It's called Trésor, and Trésor means treasure. This is her third full-length studio solo album, the second almost entirely in Cornish, written in St. Ives, Cornwall, just prior to the COVID lockdown of 2020, and completed in Cardiff during the pandemic, along with her producer and musical collaborator, Rhys Edwards. Trésor reveals an introspective focus on home and self, work echoing the isolation and retreat that has been a central global shared experience over the past couple of years. Now, I don't know. I know that there are so many artists trying to get records out, and that have been writing all over this time. But I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little bit worn on introspection and loneliness and isolation and all this, and I just wish people would kind of get that out of their system and stop it. Now, I find that to be very different from like the before mentioned Fleet Foxes, because that was during a time of trying to make people feel better about loneliness, but it wasn't just songs about that. They're just their own songs pared down acoustically. This is just more crybaby albums, and I just am starting to get a little bit weary of it. So I know, like I said, there's so many people putting out records and they're just trying to get it out of their system, but okay. This is Hardcore Superstar. This is called Abracadabra. It's on Golden Robot, and it's the new album from Gothenburg's leading exponents of street metal. Many bands play it safe, but they don't. Paying attention to the extreme death metal sounds their hometown was renowned for, the Swedish four-piece had the balls to marry two styles that grew up hating each other, metal and sleaze rock, and they kind of did a hybrid of those things. So the success and acclaim of their 2018 You Can't Kill My Rock and Roll inspired the band significantly, and writing for the next record very enthusiastically as they set off on tour. So they connected with all these fans and had influence in the different sounds that were shaping the record. It felt like they thought a record that they should have released after the Black Album. So this contains 10 hard-hitting songs, exploding riffs, attitude, intensity, all that. And this is like the kind of music that people play when the weekend is here. An album for fans that are shared with friends and cold beers and loudspeakers and that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's on gold vinyl, and it's a good time Swedish metal and sleaze. All right. Next up, this one here is Hercules and Love Affair in Amber. It's on Skint Records. 5 albums in, Andy Butler, his knack for picking and pairing the right vocalist remains like a huge part of their long-term appeal. On 2017's Omnion, he found unlikely, ingenious ways to pull John Grant, Sharon Van Etten, and the Horrors, their guy Ferris Badwan, into his world. So on Amber, Anoni returns after appearing on Hercules and Love's self-titled debut back in 2008 to become the album's vocal lightning rod on this one again. So brought her back. And here her voice is the dominant presence. It's a raw, intense foil for the dark grandeur of Andy Butler's production. It's 2 LPs, and it's unusual. Okay, this is, I don't know how to say this. It's INVSN, Envision, that's what we're going to say. It's called Let the Night Love You. It's on Clouds Hill. Arisen as far back as 1999 under the name of the Lost Patrol, and gradually becoming a full-fledged Leviathan that Envision is today. The band doesn't need to cry wolf to make their point and get their message across. The band is the message. Okay, a unit made inseparable through a close bond of shared values. Born and bred in the liberal haven that is hardcore punk, they are here to challenge our beliefs, not necessarily with a punk sound, but with a punk ethos. And this is made from recycled vinyl as well. Okay, next up is a reissue that is part of the Start Your Ear Off Right from Rhino Records. And this is Jethro Tull Aqualung. This is the Steven Wilson mix. Aqualung was their 4th studio album. Jethro Tull, if you didn't know, is a British rock band from the 70s. This was originally released in 1971. The Stephen Wilson remix here just really kind of makes it very clear recording. You can easily pick out instruments. There's nice little subtleties like a bass line running under piano parts that maybe weren't so apparent before. Now, if you don't know who Steve Wilson is, he's the founder, guitarist, and vocalist songwriter of the band Porcupine Tree, as well as being a member of several other bands, including Blackfield, Storm Corrosion, and No Man. There's also a very nice 40th anniversary booklet in here included with this album, so that is a nice reissue of that. Okay, next up, this is Joy Division, Preston, 28 February 1980, and this is, the label is an Outsider label. This is a great live show. If you're a Joy Division fan, it's got excellent live versions of their tunes with some banter about equipment failure. The studio versions are classic, but these live versions have more of the band's personality. The gig was one of the sets chosen for the semi-official treatment for a reason, a good reason. It's just that good. The band looks kind of down on this night for all the technical problems, but it's made for an amazing recording. So anyway, this is on limited edition clear vinyl, and yeah, for the Joy Division fan. All right, next up, this is the Judds, Love Can Build a Bridge, the best of. It's on the Curb label. It features 10 classic and timeless hits from the award-winning mother and daughter duo, and I guess this has come out in light of the passing of Mama Judd in an untimely way, and kind of went before her time, so they put that out, and it's got all their biggest hits on there. Okay, next up, this is Mad Lib, Medicine Show number 5, History of the Loop Digger. It's on Mad Lib Invasion. It's the history of the Loop Digger, 1990 to 2000. It's a full-length hip-hop album by Mad Lib chronicling his formative decade of underground beat tape production. Music made for himself and an extended crew of MCs known as the Crate Diggers Palace on Sky Blue vinyl. All right, this one is Madison 2, Paradise Emerald. This is good. This is on Company Records. It's their second release on Chaz Bundick, Toro y Moi, Chaz Bear. His label is Company Records, so this is their second. But this is the first without him being a member of the band. So there's identical twins, Jared on guitar and Jonathan on drums, that make up Matson 2. And they left their trademark virtuosity on display within the 32-minute runtime. They've managed to capture the arc of an entire relationship between two people. It's the first album they've written and recorded in their home, which is a wooden cabin in the hills of San Diego. It's like sunny keyboards and 80s inflected jazz. Anyway, the singing is new too. They've been playing shows for 15 years without any vocals. And on Paradise, the twins have added their voices to the mix, and it's really nice. It adds a very welcome human dimension to the record. And it comes with a download card, and it's housed in a single sleeve, and it's on emerald vinyl. And I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really good. Okay, now something I didn't enjoy. This is, whoops. All right, this is Midland, The Last Resort, Greetings From. It's on Big Machine. It's hardcore country, I guess you could say. The kind you find in bars in like Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and harmonies, lyrics, steel guitar. I mean, it is the last resort. My last resort would be having to listen to this. I don't like Okie Stomp Club music, and that's exactly what this is. Whether it's like a cheating song or a heartbreak ballad or shoot the lights out kind of thing, I don't like it. And it is, I've heard this a million times before with other people. I don't find it original. And country's just not my thing. And if it is, somebody explain to me what is so great about this. I don't find anything new about this. It's on green vinyl, and as your last resort, you may want to listen to that. I don't know. Anyway, now we got Liza Minnelli, live in New York, 1979. Two LPs. This is from Real Gone Music. This is the long lost live album recorded in the very heart of New York. It's getting this deluxe vinyl treatment here from Real Gone Music. She is one of those that has won an Oscar, an Emmy, a Tony, and a Grammy. At this time, she hadn't won the Grammy yet, but she took the stage at Carnegie Hall in September of 1979. The concert was already like a very hotly anticipated event, and it would be the first of 11 consecutive shows, the longest run in the Hall's history. So not only that, but every show in the 5-level 2,804-seat venue was sold out. So this record stood until 1987 when an artist played 3 straight weeks. Okay, so it was the longest running show at Carnegie Hall up until 1987 when an artist played 3 straight weeks of sold out shows there. That artist, also Liza Minnelli. So she broke her own record, actually. Anyway, it's got, roof-raising evening, start to finish, familiar showstoppers like Cabaret, But the World Goes Around, and Liza's theme, her take on Theme from New York, New York, as well as fresh versions of contemporary pop and classic Broadway standards. A lot of George and Ira Gershwin, Stephen Sondheim, Barry Manilow, Melissa Manchester doing their, songs. But anyway, this was deprived of proper retail distribution at the time, but they've kind of renamed this because they wanted to avoid confusion with Liza's 1987 Carnegie Hall album. So that's why this one is called Live New York 1979. I think it was something different when it first came out. But anyway, 2 LPs housed inside a gatefold jacket. The absolutely stunning cover art here is by Andy Warhol, and the insert has new introductions by both Liza Minnelli and Great American Songbook champion Michael Feinstein. So there's plus photos of the artist and liner notes and reissue producers. The audio has been fully remastered from the original tape, and it's these little town blues will surely melt away as you relive this once-in-a-lifetime evening with an extraordinary artist at the thrilling height of her career. Red vinyl edition, never before available at music retail. So, yay. Okay, so those Roxy Music reissues we've been talking about. The next 2 in line here are they're done on Half Speed Master on the Republic label. First up is Avalon, the final studio album from Roxy Music, released in 1982. It was a more smoother, more adult-oriented sound, giving us now iconic singles More Than This and Avalon. You could see how it was kind of ushering in a new era of Brian Ferry solo stuff, which was very much like this. Again, this is a reissue, Half Speed Master, cut by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studios, and it features revised artwork with a gloss laminated finish. This is actually my favorite Roxy Music record, and it's got such a feel and a vibe to it. Like I always say, this is the record you put on when it's raining outside, and it's just perfect. It's actually very romantic album too. And but anyway, of all the Roxy Music records, that is my favorite. You know what else is nice with this reissue? You've been able to kind of get this album in fits and starts from I think imports. And the weirdest thing, it's like, a normal record is like 12 by 12, and it's just a little bit bigger. So trying to pack it and send it to people has always been a big problem because it's of this outsized cardboard sleeve. Now it's normal. Thank goodness. I don't know why they did that, but it's like makes you crazy when you're trying to get on with it and pack somebody's order. God. All right. And also, through Republic, Flesh and Blood is at Half Speed. Now, this was their second #1 album in the UK when it was released in May of 1980. It has the single Over You that was a #5 UK hit that also got them a rare entry on Billboard's Hot 100 at number 80. So it also includes covers of the Byrds' 8 Miles High and Wilson's Pickett's In the Midnight Hour. So again, Half Speed mastered and revised artwork with the laminated gloss finish. Okay. And then we have Klaus Schultz, Deus Arrakis on SPV. Composer, musician, and producer Klaus Schultz rolls out extensive sounds, places legendary sequences, and creates unique Schultz atmosphere. For more than 50 years now, this guy's had a career. With Deus Arrakis, the electronic legend now presents his new studio album through his collaboration with Hans Zimmer for the Oscar-winning soundtrack to the remake of the classic film Dune. Desert Fever's broken out again for him. He said I needed more of that spice, which is like a little Dune joke for anybody that knows that. Okay, so he recounted that he just from there after Dune he just felt completely unleashed and just played and played. And at the end of the second private Dune journey, he realized that he had another salute to Frank Herbert and to the great gift of life in general. Since his beginnings in bands like Tangerine Dream and Ashra Temple, or his over 50 solo albums from Erlicht to Mirage, X, and Dune to Farscape, Continuum, Silhouettes, and now Deus Arrakis. And his productions under the pseudonym of Richard Wanfred, or numerous film scores and collaborations with artists like Arthur Brown, Michael Shreve, Rainier Bloss, Lisa Gerrard from Dead Can Dance, and most recently Hans Zimmer. So he's always remained true to his unmistakable way of creating music, and yet remained open to new and innovative and experimental avenues. This is 3 LPs. And again, I think you got to be a certain type to get into that, but I'm sure I don't have any doubt it's going to sell. Soundtrack to my best friend's wedding, music from the motion picture. This is on Real Gone Music. So here, Annie DeFranco kind of steals the show with her rendition of Dusty Springfield's "Wishin' and Hopin'," but she kind of plays the lyrics like with smirk, which is kind of made it hard to wrap yourself up in the performance. But elsewhere you get Mary Chapin Carpenter covering "I'll Never Fall in Love Again." A version is "What the World Needs Now Is Love" by Jackie DeShannon. Diana King of Stir It Up fame doing a light reggae version of "I Say a Little Prayer." And Tony Bennett, a moment with Burt Bacharach, Hal David songs that are all over this. What does Tony Bennett do? He does the Way You Look Tonight, which is very, very good. Anyway, apart from the Annie DeFranco and Tony Bennett, it's a lot of these artists, were turned loose to cover like these Bacharach, Hal David songs, and maybe they could have been better done by someone else. I don't know. It's just not the most exciting record. Vinyl reissue of the soundtrack here on black with white streaks. They're calling it tuxedo vinyl. Pardon the sirens. Sorry. Okay, this is the soundtrack to Watermelon Man on Real Gone Music, and this is it's a soundtrack from a 1970 film about a white racist who wakes up black. And Melvin Van Peebles, he recorded his own. He scored his own movies, and so that's kind of he's featured there as he's the guy. Okay, he mixes soul, blues, and contemplative flute music common to the era's films. A little patchy is an album, but stronger passages are great and make all of the soundtrack worth buying. It's on green watermelon skin vinyl. Okay. Now we have the Super Jada Band and Superform Volume 1. This is from Numero Group. Connecting Wasulu Hunter music, griot praises, Senufo pastoral dances, Fula and Mandingo repertoire alongside Western psychedelia, blues and Afro beats. Zani Diabate's Super Jada Band de Bamako was also among Mali's top orchestras by the late 1970s, well into the mid-1980s. Tracked live inside Radio Mali's raw but inspiring studio in 1982, and Superform was briefly available via Côte d'Ivoire's Musique Mondiale imprint. The album centers around Diabate and his electric guitar pyrotechnics, a relentless shredder that stands shoulder to shoulder with Mali's fingerstyle gods, Ali Farka Toure and rail band's legendary Djamandi Tunkara. Gosh, crazy. It's hard to get everybody's name correct. But anyway, here for you now. It's excellent. There's black vinyl, and there's also, it comes in ochre, but ochre sold out for us today, so I just have the black vinyl to show you. And there's a sticker on the back of the one that'll tell you when it's ochre, when we get those back in, okay? All right, so this is Tejon Street Corner, Thick as Thieves, and it's on Liars Club, recorded at Royal Recordings in Colorado Springs with producer Bill Douglas. The album combines Americana, folk, and bluegrass into an intoxicating mix with a unique trash grass twist. The booklet that accompanies the album is a comic book. See, look at these great graphics. Fans can read the nail-biting tale of how the band escaped after their bus broke down in the desert. Okay, so there's a little extra entertainment with that one. All right, next up is Three Man Army, 2 Cobalt. No, it's called 2. It's on Cobalt Blue vinyl, sorry. Real Gone Music, brothers Adrian and Paul Gervitz were responsible for some of the most progressive hard rock sounds of the late 60s and 70s. First in The Gun and later with Cream, drummer Ginger Baker in the Baker Gervitz Army. Okay, between those two bands, though, was one that perhaps the best of the bunch, Three Man Army, put out their 3 records from 1971 to 1974 that would nestle nicely in your heavy British collection next to like Cactus or Jeff Beck's Truth and Beck Ola records. 1974's 2 was confusing because it's actually their 3rd album. So it's safe to say they saved their best for last. There's a song, Polecat Woman, that kicks off the record that is as a Led Zeppelin-like boogie stomp, and that track today is very Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac, and Flying almost sounds like a harder version of Badfinger. So that gives you an idea of the kind of stuff that this was. But the highlight might be I Can't Make the Blind See, which with its orchestration and soulful vocals almost sounds like a power ballad done by Traffic. It's overlooked 70s hard rock, and it gets a long overdue vinyl reissue here on Cobalt Blue pressing, limited to 1,500 copies. All right, this is Doris Troy, Just One Look, and it's also through Real Gone Music. The late Doris Troy was one of America's great female soul singers. Sorry about the plane. She was discovered by James Brown while working as an usherette at the Apollo Theater, and she became a founding member of the Sweet Inspirations, along with Cissy Houston and Dionne and Dee Dee Warwick. And she was signed to the Beatles by the Beatles to their Apple Records label and sang backup with Pink Floyd on Dark Side of the Moon, the Rolling Stones on You Can't Always Get What You Want, Carly Simon on You're So Vain, and many other legendary recordings. She was unusual among her contemporaries in that she was an accomplished songwriter. It was Doris, again, this is Doris Troy, but under the name Doris Payne, she wrote the all-time classic Just One Look, along with 7 other tunes, including the British hit What You Gonna Do About It, on this, her debut album, on Atlantic from 1963, produced by the legendary Artie Ripp. Just One Look is somehow it escaped a vinyl reissue until now. It's on emerald green, and there you go, lovely. Okay, this is T. Stewart, Machine Drum, Elysian. Label is Mercury KX. It's a slice of unaffected paradise found in downtown Los Angeles, home to countless birds and what feels like infinite layers of greenery. The park plays the role of the muse for T. Stewart's new album, Elysian. With each track named after his favorite nooks, T. Stewart likens his crescendos to the grand, never-ending steps found just before the park. And the new project from Machine Drum, T. Stewart presents a diverse piano-led sound that juxtaposes his previous glitchy pop-fused work. So that's interesting. Okay, this next thing is pretty great. When I sort of first saw it, it was like, oh, whatever. But then upon closer inspection, it's really pretty cool. This is various artist minions, The Rise of Gru on Decca. And this is 2 LPs, the original soundtrack to Minions. The Rise of Gru promises another exciting installment in the Minions franchise, produced by Jack Antonoff. You know, he's the one that does all the hit makers like Taylor Swift and produces all those people. Anyway, this is filled to the brim with a star-studded list of artists. You can expect very funky listening experience here. It's on black, exclusive sky blue, or picture disc, but this has it's really good. It's got great artists on it. Anyway, first the thing is it's got the Turn Up the Sunshine, which is Diana Ross featuring Tame Impala. That track is on here. It's got Brittany Howard featuring Verdine White. St. Vincent is on here. Kaliukas, Brockhampton, Caroline Polachek, Thundercat, Phoebe Bridgers, Bleachers, Weyes Blood. Anyway, that's all, it's a really good soundtrack. So that's the black vinyl. Then here's what you'll find for the exclusive sky blue vinyl. We'll have the sticker, okay? And the picture disc here. I can only show you the front because it's got a thing here, closed it together, but pretty great looking vinyl. And then they have a paper on the back. So that's the only piece of the vinyl that we can see, but it promises to be pretty great. Anyway, very impressed by that. I thought, wow, it's a great soundtrack. Okay, this is Various Valley of the Sun, Field Guide to Inner Harmony, and this is the Numero group, and it's on limited Sedona Sunrise Color vinyl. I'm assuming it looks something like this. Both a marketing firm and metaphysical mission, Valley of the Sun synthesized style and spirituality to produce an extensive catalog that at once defines and defies New Age music. So founder Dick Stuffen, he worked with tireless devotion to spread a message he believed could change the world for the better. He was a very successful marketing person, and then he moved to Arizona, and he got into New Age and exploring all this New Age music and all this. And anyway, he had a real vision. I think he had a healing center and books. And anyway, this 18-track overview of Valley of the Sun, fertile 1997 to 1990 period. It includes music from Upper Astral Robert Slapp and Steve Powell, David Nagel, David Storrs, Stephen Cooper, and Gloria Thomas. There's a 24-page booklet with extensive liner notes, J-card scans, and a hint of Sedona sand. Okay. Subliminal hypnosis is probably pretty likely going on here. Anyway, it's on that Sedona Sunrise vinyl, and I believe it's a double. It's very thick. Either it's a double or it's a triple. I don't know. I think it's a double. Okay. This is Various Artists. Wild Style, also from Mr. Bongo. This is the soundtrack to the iconic movie and landmark moment in hip-hop culture. Charlie Ahearn's legendary Wild Style was a template for what was to come, featuring Grandmaster Caz, Busy Bee, Double Trouble, and Remelizi, and more. It's limited edition yellow vinyl, and early days of hip-hop getting a foothold, available now. Okay, another one I don't know how to say, VRSTY, Versty. Welcome Home. And this is on Spine Farm. It's a full-length debut from Versty and follows their 2021 Breakthrough Cloud City EP, which accumulated millions of streams and garnered massive support on SiriusXM. Versty have perfected their seamless and fearless cross-pollination of metallic grooves and R&B influenced after midnight swagger on this 14-track release. They aren't just offering their own take on a genre, they've authored a fusion style entirely their own. This comes to you on purple vinyl. It doesn't say it. I believe it's just, you have to just take their word for it. I believe they only pressed it on purple. Okay, this one is Warmduscher, this is on Bella Union, and it's London's funk punk gang Warmduscher. They're made up of members of Fat White Family, Paranoid London, and Childhood. Their fourth album, At the Hotspot, was written over a year during lockdown, produced by Joe Goddard and Al Doyle of Hot Chip, and it takes a raucous energy of Warmduscher solidified on their critically acclaimed 2019 release, Tainted Lunch, and it injects it with a slightly more polished 80s funk sound that's kind of like, they're the way they kind of word this flowery language. It's like stumbling home to your squatted loft after a drunken night at the local disco. Okay. It's crunchy on the outside, smooth on the inside. It might be most immediately enjoyable music that Warmduscher have graced us with. So that's out now. Okay, now this thing is pretty wild. It's from Watain. It's the Trident Wolf Eclipse Limited Box Set on Varsity Rights is the label. So Trident Wolf Eclipse, the sixth full-length studio album by this Swedish black metal band Watain. Okay, it was released in 2018. The album marks a significant shift away from the progressive style of Watain's previous and a return to their early, more traditional and aggressive black metal sound. This is a limited deluxe box set. It's limited to 3,000 copies, and it includes the 12-inch vinyl, not a 12 inches in a single. It's the full-length album, but it's on silver vinyl, and it's in a 3-panel gatefold sleeve with these exclusive photos and artwork, along with this gatefold-sized insert. Trident Wolf Eclipse on CD comes in here too, in a paper sleeve with exclusive artwork. Antichrist Miracle 7-inch EP is in here. The appendix track of Trident Wolf Eclipse on vinyl with exclusive artwork by H. Johnson. 20 Years of Watain is a set of individual flyers and photos documenting the first 20 years of Watain. Trident paint stencil, double-sided poster, 60 by 30 centimeters. That's like something like 12 by 24, it's approximately, and with exclusive artwork. So, wow, that's got a lot of stuff. If you're a Watain fan, that's kind of an amazing package that they've got going there. All right, this is Remy Wolf, Juno, translucent orange vinyl here on Island. It's the debut album from Remy Wolf, one of pop's brightest young stars. With her eclectic sound and magnetic personality, Remy has developed an avid fan base, making her a trailblazer in the Gen Z pop scene. She's garnered a cult following of peers and fellow artists along the way. She's had collaborations with Dominic Fike, Beck, and Nile Rodgers, and Instagram cosigns from John Mayer, Khalid, and Camila Cabello. Sorry. Okay. And this is another difficult name to pronounce, Yaeji, Yaeji. And this is EP 1 and 2 on the Yaeji label. Here is a debut collection of recordings by Kathy Yeji Lee, originally released as a pair of EPs in March and November of 2017. It's remastered for a belated vinyl edition for the first time. A lot's been said and repeated about this club music, how joyful the tremor of her biggest song, Rain Girl. The refrain holds hands with such soft and doubtful verses, and how special it is that a house music of New York can contain storytelling cultivated so far away. So Yeji wrote this music while going out nearly every night of the week to DJ and support her own NYC community of friends at their turns behind the decks. These tracks originated from exploration and dance floor anonymity, growing from seeds planted by sharing her first musical experiments online. Again, it's on orange vinyl, and that's like we'll see what happens there with her stuff. Okay, guys, that's the pile, and now we can all kind of get going on our 4th of July weekend. Hope you're going to do something fun, or if you even just get a nice 3 days to just relax. It's awesome, isn't it? So if you're local, we are going to be closed. We're giving everybody the day off on Monday too. And so if you want to come in and buy some new releases, we're open every day, 10 to 4. So Saturday and Sunday, come on in and get those. And other than that, have a wonderful long weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.